does need respect. And if a man loves her properly, she will get that respect. But the primary meaning in Otis Redding's song is a cry from a man's deepest soul that says respect is what he needs and he's got to have it. According to the book, Love and Respect, greeting cards are a clue into the minds and needs of women. It is interesting that studies show overwhelmingly the majority of cards in the United States are purchased by women and given to women. Greeting cards are a multi-million-dollar business. Now, the card companies are not interested in ideology. They're not trying to change anyone's mind. They're just simply out to make money and produce what sells. And knowing that, I challenge you to find one greeting card from a husband to a wife that says, "Baby, I really respect you." Guess what? You won't find it. That card isn't out there because that is not what a wife wants to hear. Women are locked into love, and love is their mother tongue. And that's not a criticism. That's just simply the way God designed women. Unfortunately, by the same token, you won't find any greeting cards that wives send to their husbands saying, "Baby, I really respect you." Why not? Because they don't sell either. When women buy greeting cards for their husbands, they want to express love for them. They don't even think about respect. Sadly, the deepest yearning of husbands goes unmet because wives and the card publishers are locked into relaying sentiments of love. Think about it. I'll never forget that while I was on staff at my former church, my former supervisor had made a decision that affected me, that changed my plans, and I thought it was highly unfair. So what did I do? I went to make an appeal to the pastor. The pastor looked at me, and I told the pastor how unfair I thought this change was. And the pastor looked at me in my eyes and said, "Elder Moore, we'll make a lot of decisions that you'll think is unfair. Life is unfair. But I can promise you this, we will respect you." Important. Even when decisions were made that weren't popular. Write this down. Women must understand that respect is a man's deepest value. Listen to this. In the text, it revealed that in one national study, 400 men were given a choice between going through two different negative experiences. If they were forced to choose one of the following, which do you think they would prefer to endure? A, to be left alone and unloved in the world, or B, to feel inadequate and disrespected by everyone? 74% of these men said if they were forced to choose, they would prefer being alone and unloved in the world. For these men, the greater negative experience for their souls to endure would be to feel inadequate and disrespected by everyone. Now keep in mind that these men are not saying that they are indifferent to love. That's not what we're saying at all. They know they need love, but they need to feel respected even more than feeling loved. A good analogy is water and food. We need both to survive. We can live longer without food, without water. But guess what? For men, love is like food, and respect is like water. Write this in. Respect is the key to motivating a husband. Respect is the key. Now, what is this Wednesday? Valentine's Day. Thank you. Again, respect is the key to motivating a husband. Not attitude, not nagging, not closing the promised land. Sisters, if you're not married, then you have a right to keep the promised land closed. Let me say this. Most men do not get married to become celibate. Let me say that again. Most men do not get married to become and remain celibate. Now, I can't figure what that's about. All the time you're not married, you're getting it. Then you get married, you want to close the promised land. What's up with that? Now, looking at the military, not only do men want to serve, but they are also willing to die in combat. There is something in many men placed there by God to fight and die for honor, for women, for children, and for buddies. And this is why men who abuse or dishonor women are not worthy of honor themselves. Also, unfortunately, there is a spirit in our culture, on the other hand, of male bashing. There are voices that have been saying, don't show respect to men, they don't deserve it, they'll treat you in a subservient way, or they'll abuse you or even kill you. And this is true of a certain number of men, but it is a lie concerning the vast majority of men. In the passage we read, Peter is telling husbands to live in an understanding way, to show the wife honors a fellow heir or partner, and he is telling husbands to value and prize their wives as equals within the grace of God. Let me talk about that for a moment. For just a moment, I need about 2 or 3, let's say married men. Brother Turner. Where's the mic? The handheld. Okay, we use an illustration, pick on some people. So you didn't know I was going to do that. Minister Kelly? Need one more married man. Okay. Brother Brooks. Now listen very carefully. They're not going to say anything. They're not going to preach. But this is an example. This microphone, we're saying it's worth $50,000. Brothers, I want you to handle this mic back and forth to each other like it's worth $50,000. Notice how gently that they're handling that? Because it's valuable. And let me say this, I hope each of you are handling your wives that way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Now, just for the record's sake, that's not worth $50,000, so I expect it to still be here for the next service. It's not even worth 10% of $50,000. It's not even worth 1% of $50,000. Okay? So don't take the mic. But husbands, if we highly value our wives, then we are sensitive and delicate in the way we handle them with our words and with our attitudes. We're not talking about just physical abuse. Sometimes wives undergo in the church emotional abuse. Palace guards, stand up. All men that belong to New Birth North should be palace guards. Now, we're stepping out of the box in 2007. If there are any women under the sound of my voice that are living in fear or emotional distress or abuse, call the church. The palace guards will come over and learn how to handle your husband. Are you with me, palace guards? Thank you. You may be seated. And when we get done handling them, they'll know how to handle you. And I mean that. It must be understood that the Bible does not indicate that wives are inferior to their husbands. Men and women are equal in essence, but different in function. Now, some women say out of fear, unconditionally respecting men will just give them more power to grind us down. On the contrary, husbands who have goodwill toward wives are not looking for ways to have power and superiority over their wives. It's only insecure men that do that. Usually men who were abused as children become abusers, whether the abuse is physical or emotional. Listen, if we can get Christian husbands to focus on genuinely loving their wives, and if we could get Christian wives to focus on genuinely respecting their husbands, the divorce rate in the Christian community would plummet.